What's going on there, everyone? Alright. Greta Thunberg, however you want to say it, begs for a ride home. Quote, I've traveled halfway around the world the wrong way. Well, considering it's a globe, there is no wrong way to travel around it. But, ha ha ha. You know, you sit there and you made such a stink about modes of transportation. Now you find yourself a little bit screwed. Because you've badmouthed every mode of transportation. Why should anyone feel sorry for you? I don't get it. Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg on Friday appealed for help getting back to Europe after next month's UN climate summit was unexpectedly relocated. They probably unexpectedly relocated it to get further away from you. Because your whole climate change alarmism is irritating people. It's not helping the cause, that's for sure. You're just making people see climate activists for what they are. Generally crazy people. And what I say to the people watching that are like, oh, how are you going to say they're crazy people? Go on. You're on YouTube already, obviously. Look up the European climate activists. Just, check out the UK climate activists. These people are out of their minds. I don't even get what they're trying to do at a lot of these events where they're just dressed like hippies and they're just running around, flailing around, making random noises and whatnot. I don't know what they're trying to convey, but it has nothing to do with climate change. I don't get it. It's a bad look. Bad look. And when Miss Thunberg herself came out, and how dare you? How dare you? How dare you? How dare you say, how dare I? Who are you? You're a little kid that's been taught what to say by her activist, left-wing, progressive parents. But I digress. Thunberg traveled from Sweden to New York by a zero-carbon yacht that was made out of carbon fiber, if I'm not mistaken, which would make it absolutely 100% carbon yacht, not a zero-carbon yacht. For a previous climate conference of the United Nations where she excoriated world leaders for allegedly destroying her future with their inaction. Greta, you're going to be fine. Climate alarmist, y'all are all going to be fine. Trust me. There's almost virtually nothing we can do to destroy this planet in our lifetimes, with the exception of a massive thermonuclear war. Other than that, we're all going to be fine. I promise. I promise. She then planned to travel to Chile for the COP2 in December, saying she would use, that's odd, trains, buses, and probably even sailing to once again minimize her carbon footprint. Trains and buses, well, those are bad. Those are real bad. Because they just produce CO2 en masse. But Chile's government last week announced it was canceling the event over political unrest, prompting Spain to take over as host. Political unrest is happening all over the world, people. We're living in a very truly crazy time. I think people are actually fed up with the crazy time that we're living in, and that's why we're seeing a lot of this. The left... that has left Thunberg looking for an eco-friendly ride for the 6,000-mile trip. She has sworn off flying as part of her activism. Well, that's stupid, because, you would be better off taking a plane, your carbon footprint, because let's think. During your little sailboat fiasco, when you came over here on your carbon fiber sailboat, you know what happened with that crew? It was a pretty good-sized crew had to run that boat. I don't remember the exact number. I'll say it was probably 5 or more. Yeah, they took a plane back. They sailed it here and took planes back to where they belonged. So, how is she going to say anything about her travel to the United States being zero carbon? That's absolutely not true. That's absolutely not true. But don't call them out on reality. As hashtag COP25 has officially been moved from Santiago to Madrid, I'll need some help, Thunberg tweeted from Los Angeles. It turns out I've traveled halfway around the world the wrong way. She added, now I need to find a way to cross the Atlantic in November. If anyone could help me find transport, I would be so grateful. Okay, you're in Los Angeles. Near Los Angeles, there's this big giant complex. I do believe they call it an airport. Yes, it's where these crazy machines. They're not even that old, man. They've only been around for like 100 and something years. But these crazy machines, they will fly you across the ocean in a mere hours. Hours. It's incredible. It's really, truly something to behold. Greta, you should try it out. I think you'll like it. I think it's a good mode of travel for you. Sorry, I know I'm just being ridiculous, but this is ridiculous. Responses to Thunberg's request varied. A number of Twitter users volunteered transport, while others suggested she use her celebrity status to find a solution. Thunberg was in Los Angeles to attend one of the international school strikes for climate change that she inspired from Stockholm. Okay, Greta, go home and don't come back, because our students in these universities are already being brainwashed by progressives. We don't need foreigners coming over here and brainwashing them even further. Stick to your own country, because Sweden has a whole bunch of dang problems. You know, the how can I put this to where YouTube won't hate me? Certain types of assaults on women go down all the time there. Grenades are a problem. Yes, grenades being tossed around into buildings and blowing up buildings seems to be a problem. Yeah, y'all got your own problems. How about you clean up your mess before you try to hound us about ours, okay? And, like I always say, and always will continue to say, the U.S. is like one of the leaders of trying to clean up, trying to get emissions down. So, you know, go somewhere else with your BS. Like all of us conservatives have said, why aren't y'all sitting here and going to the actual countries that are causing 90% of the pollution on the planet, like Africa, India, and Asia? Why don't y'all go there? Start there. Start with the people that are actively just spewing waste into the environment. No, you know why they don't do that? Because they would go there and the people there would either A, laugh at them and be like, go home. Or they would B, probably be attacked. Now, that's a very real reality in some of these places. They could be attacked. And C, just, you're sitting here protesting in all these nations that are actively trying to do something proactively about climate change. You're barking up the wrong tree and just irritating people. Good job. Good job. While in town, she has rubbed shoulders with Hollywood celebrities too. After meeting Thunberg, actor Leonardo DiCaprio, which is another piece of trash globalist that is a hypocrite in almost every way, said Friday on Instagram that she is a leader of our time. No, she's not. And that they made a commitment to support one another. Y'all have at it. Such pathetic people, man. Such pathetic people. Also, Friday, Thunberg appeared on the Ellen DeGeneres show, where she told the host that talking to President Donald Trump would be a waste of time, really. You're just mad because Donald Trump walked right past you. Because you've been propped up by activists to think you're important. Well, Donald Trump, he knows you're not that important. You're just a little kid that's being told what to say and how to say it. Because when you're off the cuff, you don't make a whole lot of sense. And it seems like you don't know what you're saying. Because you don't. You're being fed what to say? You're nothing but an actor. That's why you're hanging out with actors, probably. DeGeneres later tweeted, I was honored to meet the amazing Greta Thunberg. I don't know why you're honored to meet a little girl that knows nothing. Thunberg said last month that former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger offered to lend her his electric car so she could get around the United States. Arnold, don't belittle yourself to these people's level. We know inside your garage you got like 80 Humvees. Come on. Just stop. Just stop. Everyone, just stop. The Earth has natural cycles of warming and cooling. We've seen it throughout geological records. It's nothing new. It is absolutely nothing new. There have been ice ages that have come on within 100 years. I mean, it's amazing what the Earth can do when it feels like doing it, you know? It's its own thing. It does its own thing. We have no control over that. Sure, we can control how much CO2 and stuff we're putting into the air. Sure, we can. But CO2 isn't necessarily a bad thing either. Plants and stuff need CO2. It's a fact. And we don't need an excess amount of oxygen in the atmosphere and in our environment because it's bad. Yeah, it's actually a bad thing to have so much oxygen. And it's kind of a good thing to have elevated levels of CO2. It's weird how it works, but it does. It does. And you know what? The Earth can cycle itself. It can cycle itself. You know, it's weird the processes. I watch a lot of nature documentaries because I, as a conservative and a hunter and a fisherman and an outdoorsman, I love outside. I love nature. I love this planet. I'm not crazy like these people, but I do know we can do our best to help clean it up. You know, every once in a while I'll go off to the creek, my local creek, and unfortunately, a lot of people like to throw trash over this particular bridge into my creek. So I'll take trash bags out there and clean up a mile or two of the creek, you know. Not a big deal. Do I ask for praise? No. Do I tell anybody? Y'all are the first. Because it's not something you should have to talk about. It's just something you should do, you know. I appreciate the outdoors, therefore I'm going to keep it clean. You know, that's how you go about it. You don't go about this yelling at everyone and telling them how they failed and all this stuff, calling them this, that, and the other, saying, how dare you? No, just try to plead with people. Be like, hey, you know, every once in a while we all have nothing to do and we all just sitting around twiddling our thumbs. Why don't you take a bag outside and pick up some trash? Something like that, you know. Try to be more pro-people instead of anti-people. It'll really go a long way. Because I don't know about y'all, but I'm sick of being yelled at. Especially as a person on the right, the political right, about everything. I get yelled at, especially because I'm a white male. I'm like the most dreaded thing in the world to a leftist person. Even though the ones usually saying that are overwhelmingly white liberals. Doesn't make sense. But yeah, nothing they do makes sense. Not anything. At least I haven't seen it. But Greta Thunberg, take a plane, go home, and just don't come back. And Donald Trump, can you revoke like her passport or something to make it to where people like her just can't come here? Because she's not doing anything positive. She's furthering divisive nature, the divisive natures of these activist types. We don't need that. There's been enough dang activism and protest in this country and around the world. It's getting old. There are some protests that are happening that actually make sense, like free Hong Kong protest. I'm all for it. Tear it down. Tear the communist system down. Let China know that they don't run the world, even though they want to so bad. It's disturbing. It's disturbing. But, yes, just fly home. Take a plane. Go away. It would be much appreciated for you to go back to your home country. I'd love to hear your comments, and as always, like, share, and subscribe. I will catch y'all on the flip side.